But I'm here with Simon tonight because I wanted to talk to Simon about the Brooklyn Beckham feud and its parallels with the Harry feud. There's been a major development tonight with Brooklyn basically publishing a statement on his social media accounts, basically saying, we'll read it to you in a little bit. We'll just let everybody join, first of all, and then we'll read it to you in a little bit. But I'm sure some of you already seen it. Simon, you wrote about Brooklyn's feud and the sort of parallels with Harry's feud. I mean, reading that statement today, I mean, do you have it there? Do you want to read it or?
The statement. Well, we need a long time to read it, but I mean, it's
Yeah,
very long. I can read it if you like.
go on.
So
If you have it there, nice and
I have.
slow.
Do you want me to do it in his voice?
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think if you could do it in
No,
a,
I won't do that. I won't do that. That would be me.
no, we'd really get in
Um,
trouble then, Millsy.
I have been silent for years and made every effort. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. I do not want to reconcile with my family. I am not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my excuse me, in my life. For my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family. The performative social media posts, family events, and inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of my life I was born into. Recently, I've seen with my own eyes the lengths that they'll go to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of innocent people, to preserve their own facade. But I believe the truth always comes out. It goes on.
It's wild. Okay, let's go a bit. You're right. It's so long. Let's go a bit at
Yeah,
a time. So, I mean, when you wrote about this feud, you wrote very, very movingly about it. And, look, we've both got teenage kids, we've been there. Well, yours might be a little bit older now, but
yeah.
I mean, you spoke about how important it is to maintain the family relationship and for it not to go down this road. I mean, this is basically as bad as it could get, isn't it, Simon?
Well, I mean, there's an ocean and a whole country in between them now, which is one thing, which is heartbreaking enough as a parent. But there's also now this kind of sort of almost legal and an outside threat from a different family and it seems like there is a genuine a feud here going on, and that he's got a lot of grievances. And when I wrote about it, I have to say I did write about it sort of slightly skewed from the fact that I thought that the family, the parents were must be feeling so wronged and so upset and so sad. But
Mm.
he does seem to have some points to put across. And I mean, perhaps his life has been a little bit difficult. Perhaps the life of a nepo baby isn't so gorgeous as it seems.
So just to continue to pick up where you left off, I mean, as you said, the grievances, I mean, he lists some of them and I'll read them
Yeah,
out. But I mean, my personal feeling is that, like, if this was my kid and I'd given them like their whole career,
yeah,
everything, what have you? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, make your own minds up, people. These is a list of some of the grievances. My parents have been trying to endlessly ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mum cancelled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour, despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her urgently to find a new dress. Weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. I mean, that to me, I'm just like, it feels to me like whatever the rights and wrongs of it, it feels like a terrible PR move to be saying this because, like, he doesn't have a name. He has
yeah.
his parents' name. I mean, I hate to be mean to Brooklyn, but I've never watched Cooking with Brooklyn. I mean,
I
like,
have to say I'm still slightly I'm slightly on the fence with this, because I think that That sounds awful. I mean, it does sound absolutely awful having to sign a what's a sort of NDA or a sort of
Yeah.
a thing before you just before you get married. And he has made that thing, hasn't he? But changing his name to Peltz, is it Peltz Beckham or
Right.
Beckham Peltz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So perhaps that might be a branding move. Perhaps he's out of contract now, so he's got a different
Mm-hmm.
surname. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it
Wow. You
sounds
think, I mean, that does sound what it's like, doesn't it? Because then he said
yeah.
they were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday and they had never
Yeah,
used it.
I didn't understand that bit. My holdout is that young people speak for something? My holdout affected the payday. What's the payday?
Well, what's that? Yeah. So the holdout presumably is I refused to sign this
Yeah,
document that they gave me. And then the payday, I suppose, is the payoff from the parents of what he was going to get for
yeah,
agreeing not to be Brooklyn Beckham and being
yeah.
Brooklyn Belts Beckham.
Which sort of slightly goes against the fact that he's standing on his own 2 feet. Um, yeah. I mean, it sounds like a sort of dowry or something, doesn't it? Like an old-fashioned dowry that he was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Crazy. And
um,
then during the
we
wedding
get
planning, my mum went so far as to call me evil because Nicola and
this
I.
is the best bit, I think. By the way, so coming up, it's okay.
During the wedding planning, my mum went so far as to call me evil because Nicola and I chose to include my nanny Sandra and Nicola's nanny at our table. That means grandmother, by the way, for those non-British people, because
Yeah.
they both didn't have their husbands. Both of our parents had their own tables equally adjacent to ours. Like, I mean, lots of people have arguments at weddings. Like, I would, I mean, yeah, like it's it's crazy. It's just like
Yeah.
who decides to like what I feel is like, I definitely feel like clearly like I do believe him when he says like the parents are really manipulative and only care about press photos and all that kind of stuff. Like or have an unhealthy I do definitely believe and look, you and I have both over the years done stories, with the Beckhams, and they were always famously very controlling about their image. Even from the days years ago of like the outside organisation, were notorious for kind of controlling
Mm,
their
yeah.
images, and the way I suppose that they totally controlled David's image with all the affair rumors with Rebecca Luce, who, then said in that documentary or whatever that her identity had been crushed and like all that kind of stuff. And
Mm.
I don't know, it's just like really mad. Like,
Well, he kind of addresses that right at the top of his statement, where he talks about inauthentic. I mean, that's probably the most damning thing of the whole statement is the first sentence where he talks about the inauthentic relationships, which is
mm,
sort of alluding to some sort of some sort of fakeness in the marriage there.
mm,
Which obviously,
mm,
as you say, has been alluded to for a long time. And can I just
mm.
refer to the work of Mr. Jimmy Gulzar, formerly Scary Spice's husband, who
Yeah,
earlier on this year posted a bit of a kind of a telling social media post where he said, do you remember this, Tom? Did you read this? I mean, I
no,
know. I know, yeah, I know. In other news, Trump invades Greenland and all the rest of it. But yeah, he said something like to the effect of come on, David, tell the truth. We know we know you're faking, and and it's again alluded to something a little slightly sinister about the Beckham's relationship,
right,
and one suspects that he might have a book in him or something, or he might be planning a sort of Harry
mm,
style spare sort of retaliation media assault, where he maybe makes a video and he makes a video, sorry, a
mm,
Netflix series or something like that, or the hell of being a nepo baby. I mean, I could
yeah,
write the treatment for them if they like. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I'd watch it. I mean, I've got to say, like, obviously my interest in this is much more from the royals, and there've
yeah,
been persistent rumors that Harry and Meghan were kind of uh counseling them I think guiding would be the wrong word, but had been a sort of shoulder to cry on throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
that understood it all. And there are these incredible parallels with
Mm.
the Harry story of what we saw, in Spare. What Harry complained about over and over again was basically how his father, or indeed operatives working for his brother, would sacrifice him to make them look good. And of course, the really
Yeah.
famous example of this was when Harry was caught smoking a spliff. Um, that Charles sort of spun it all as like he's this sort of put upon single dad who then took him to a rehab to teach him the evils. And without really thinking, obviously, what would have been better for Harry was for it not to be in the newspapers,
Yeah. Of course.
right? And there was this impression that certainly Harry had this impression, very like I think what Brooklyn talks about in this message, of that it was perfectly okay to sacrifice him if it did well for the family's public image. And I suppose it is, we know it's weird being a member of these families, but there is then it goes on, right? So this is the Brooklyn, just for those of you who's just joined, and I've just seen my friend Katie Floyd has just joined. So hi, Katie. Um, it's it. We're talking about Brooklyn's statement today. Brooklyn Beckham made this crazy statement, very emotional statement, saying that he was done with his parents, that they'd been manipulating him, that all they cared about was their own image, that their relationship was inauthentic, like all this kind of stuff. So he then says that he's received endless attacks from my parents that were sent to the press on their orders. Uh, he said that his brothers were sent to attack me on social media. Then, now I heard that the whole thing really went ballistic when Mark Antony said at the wedding that Victoria was the most beautiful woman in the room. Did you hear that, Simon?
I didn't know that, but I did. There's another bit in the statement where he talks about what his mother does.
Yeah.
When could you want to read that bit out? I think that's the
No,
best
you do
bit.
it.
I'll have to find it. So
Okay,
there's
I'll read
so
it.
you
Brooklyn
picture the
went on
scene.
to
Yes,
claim. Brooklyn
yeah,
went on to claim
in
that
front of
his
500 wedding guests. That's right. Yeah.
yeah, that his mother hijacked his first dance with Nicola and danced inappropriately on me.
On me. That's the expression that I love. She danced on me in front of everyone. I mean, like so he's talking about his mother like she's some sort of Las Vegas lap dancer or something. It's extraordinary at a wedding, which is are we supposed to do that at the stag night, right? I mean, not with your mother, obviously, but
I mean, danced inappropriately on me, and
yeah,
that he had never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in his entire life.
yeah, yeah,
Well, all I can say is you've led a very sheltered life, Brooklyn, but
yeah,
that's my own opinion. Um,
yeah.
he he goes on, then all the stuff. Do you remember when he didn't show up at the dad's 50th birthday?
I do.
Everybody said, oh, he's a little shit for not showing up to his dad's birthday.
Yeah,
But he now says in this that he wanted to go, doesn't
yeah.
he?
No,
That
not only
point?
that. He was in London as well. He was actually in London when that happened, and he had to sort of negotiate some hours to get some hours with his father, like he was negotiating with some Hollywood celebrity. And his dad eventually showed up, but then what's it saying? You read out the conditions of it. You remember that
He
bit
had
was
to
towards the
post
end,
something, didn't he? He had to
something like
post
that. Yeah,
something in order to sorry, I was so involved. He basically had to post he basically refused. He said that they were in a hotel crying, presumably means him and Nicola were in a hotel crying, and that he made all these requests to see him beforehand.
that's right.
And when he finally agreed to see me, it was under the condition that Nicola wasn't invited.
Yeah,
I mean, like also, like, you know, okay, like he couldn't. If he's lying, this is going to be the world's biggest ever defamation case, and in it, unbelievable, what have you. So I think we have to assume that he's telling the truth, right?
Yeah,
Presumably, he's got the booking receipt of the hotel that he was in, and what have you.
yeah,
Um, and I just, I don't know. I'm just like, this is the blowing up, basically, of the biggest happy family brand in
that's true.
history,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, is just reading it again. I mean, every single one of these paragraphs split up into a post would have been a bombshell, but he's chosen to,
Yeah,
to drop them all at the same time, and it's quite
yeah,
extraordinary. So I like this bit as well. So he talks about how the only thing, well, he's saying that the only thing that he's him and Nicola have ever asked of the family is that Nicola asked for Victoria's support to save displaced dogs during the LA fires. She and my mum refused, says Brooklyn. Oh my God. I mean, that's this classic Hollywood shoot the dog thing, isn't it? I mean, God, you've got to be nice
yeah,
to the dogs. I mean,
yeah.
extraordinary. Um, but
Crispy known, crispy known.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what do
Uh,
we to read into this? So
that's pretty low though.
yeah,
Also, like, I mean, it's bad of her not to want to do the dogs charity, but it's also bad of him to portray his mum as a dog hater because there's nothing worse you can be. So, do you remember when they evacuated all those dogs from Afghanistan and they look
yeah.
after people? Yeah.
Um, and this comes hot on the heels, of course, of David Beckham being on the cover of Country Life and talking about all his love of country pursuits and their dogs
And
and all the rest of it. Yeah,
being knighted.
being knighted. Yeah, that's right.
And,
Yeah,
very much like I think we sort of see now how the um two sides have allied here. And we can definitely see that, you know, for Charles now, I think this potentially looks really bad because it puts him in the camp of like, I'm in the mean parents camp, And for
right. Yeah,
Brooklyn,
that's
obviously, it's been going to dinner at Meghan and Harry's and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, the positioning, the branding, but I mean, I wonder whether Meghan has introduced him to Ted Sarandos because it would be an incredible. I
well.
mean, that Beckham film
Back
was huge, right?
back in May, there was a sort of there was a meeting of minds, wasn't there? At was it actually at Harry and Meghan's house?
Yeah,
They invited they invited Paramount Pictures CEO
right.
Brian Robbins was there with his wife.
Yeah,
So one wonders, yeah, if there was sort of pitching to him
yeah.
the idea
Because
of
they
some
couldn't
sort
do it for
of
Netflix
yeah,
because they did the Beckham film and they're
yeah,
doing the
that's right.
Victoria film. So
Yeah,
they couldn't do it for them. So they're
yeah.
going to have to do it for Paramount. But
But
this is, and
the parallels between the two families, like you say, are incredible. I mean, specifically that when he talks about when Brooklyn talks about Brand Beckham. I mean, you insert the firm, right? From
mm,
when Harry talked about the firm, how everything, the importance of Brand Beckham eclipses everything, including being decent parents, yeah,
mm,
and a decent son.
mm.
I mean, what he does for a living, though, I don't quite understand. I mean, I know he has a hot sauce out like everyone else, but everyone else that's got a hot sauce out is really famous, and he's not. I don't think he's famous. Is he? Is he internet famous or um,
I
famous
mean,
for
I
being
think
famous? I mean,
like, yeah, I mean, I think like he obviously is a little bit famous, but only in terms of being Brooklyn Beckham, right? And as
yeah,
he says, it's interesting that he's rebranded as Brooklyn Peltz Beckham, but it does have shades of the Prince Harry thing as well, because the obvious criticism that everyone always says to Harry and Meghan is, well, if you hate the royal family so much, why do you still call yourself HRH? Why do you still call
yeah,
yourself the Duke of this and the Duke of that? Like, and you'd be entitled to say the same thing, mate. If it's that bad being a Beckham, why aren't you Brooklyn Pels? You know, Like
Mm.
the amazing story of Zoe Bowie, right? Who didn't fall out with his father, David. And he made that amazing film, Moon. I don't know if you ever saw it. He's a brilliant
Yeah, of
filmmaker.
course. Yeah.
And he's called Duncan Jones, right?
Yeah.
And I heard this amazing interview with him where he said, my dad was so patient and he was always trying to teach me musical instruments and I just wasn't interested. I just wasn't interested. And my biggest rebellion in my whole life was, was changing my name to Duncan Jones,
Yeah.
and it's like that just feels so authentic, doesn't it? It's like you're stepping away from the shadow of your parents without having to fire stuff off on Instagram saying that, your parents are controlling you and you're being manipulated. And I mean, come on.
I
It's
think that from reading between the lines, there's lots of stuff about his adulthood being completely dominated by them. I mean, as far as I can see, that he wanted to be a photographer, so they paid for him to go to uh, art college in New York, and hooked him up with Elton John, who's one of the biggest, the most important experts and collectors of contemporary photography in the world. And he probably introduced him to some very famous photographers. Then that didn't work. Then they hooked him up with their best friend Gordon Ramsay, who helped teach him to cook. Helped him to learn to cook.
mm,
And then I think that all along it's all been about the family and their connections. And was he a footballer for a while or something like that?
skateboarder.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know if there was any
yeah, yeah.
footballers though. But it's also
But
interesting, isn't it, that the other common theme in this is the marriage, to the American wife who comes in and
yeah.
has different ideas of doing things, the therapy speak that you hear a bit in there, my wife has been consistently disrespected by my family, no matter how hard we've tried to come together as one. My mum has repeatedly invited women from my past into our
I know, I love that women from my past. I mean, he sounds like something about my age when he says that women from my past. I mean, how many have you got in there, Mister Hefner? I mean, it's extraordinary. I don't know. This is maybe a reference to his the tiff that he had with his brother over a shared girlfriend. You know about this
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
they're supposed to have had. Yeah, I don't know if there's any traction in that, but yeah. But yeah, he's funny. It sounds I don't think he's written it. Do you? This thing.
I don't
I
know, because I was thinking about that and I thought it's so badly written that maybe he did. I mean, he definitely hasn't put it through Chat GPT and he probably should have. Um, I don't know. It's sort of so weirdly like danced on me.
yeah.
The sort of non sequiturs, the thing about, my family values public promotion and endorsements above all else. Brand Beckham comes first. That actually does sound a bit like it's been put through or someone else has written it. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a mishmash of the two. I'd be interested to know who's representing him. Um,
It says at the bottom actually.
oh,
Shillings, Harbottle, and Lewis.
oh, they're the lawyers, but I
Yeah,
wonder
the
which
lawyers.
PR team.
Oh, CPR. Yeah. I mean,
It'd be interesting.
is this turned him in? Who do you think comes after this worse? Do you think this has bolstered his own brand Brooklyn, or which comes out best, brand Brooklyn or brand Beckham,
I
or
think it's a
worse?
disaster for all of them, isn't it? Because I mean, I
Yeah,
think the whole brand, the smart thing to do, obviously, as everyone always says, and they say with Harry, would have been to resolve it quietly behind closed doors,
yeah,
because he's going to get a short term hit out of this. He's going to get exactly what Harry and Meghan got out of it. He's going to get a short term hit. He's going to get a book deal for $20 million. He's going to get a TV deal or whatever to spill all the dirt on how awful Victorian. But then everyone's just going to think, mate, you're a complete tool. You're only famous because your parents are famous. And like,
yeah,
but I think what's really interesting as well is I think that it's really crazy how Meghan and Harry are totally trying to make their children part of their brand because like it only ever seems to end in disaster. And it's like Harry went through that. The royal family is obviously the original kind of brand. Here's Brooklyn going through this, who apparently they're very close to, and yet they are doing basically exactly the same thing to Archie and Lilibet and putting them into all their social media posts, making them part of the whole brand Sussex. We love our cozy evenings in and watching telly. I mean, they're like 5, they're like
Yeah.
6 and 3. It's like
Yeah.
completely mental. Like,
Yeah.
it is totally mad.
I think I was just trying to work out whether what David Beckham's part in this is. Is he the Prince Charles? Is he the king, or is he more like the sort of Thomas Markle figure, really, who's just the kind of like sort of slightly sad man, not knowing what to do, not being able to see his kid, and and probably never seeing his grandchildren when they're big. I mean, I'm sure that's the next thing on Brooklyn's mind, is to have a child, because he's got nothing else to do, really, has he? Um, I
I
think
think
that,
he's very much pitched as the part of the bad guy.
yeah,
Despite this, we still travelled to London for my dad's birthday and were rejected for a week as we waited in our hotel trying to plan quality time with him. He refused all of our attempts unless it was his big birthday party with
yeah,
100 guests and
yeah.
cameras at every
I know.
corner.
I think that also the missed out details there were the flight that his father paid for to come over to
Right.
London. The
We paid
business
for the
stuff first.
hotel
So
room.
I've got it on good authority. He only travels first as well, Brooklyn.
I've got it
Um,
on good authority that his dad paid for the hotel room in London.
I'm
Not
pretty sure of
happening.
that
I'm
as
just
well.
making it up. I want to
I'm
confirm I'm
sure,
making that
but
up.
somebody I know told me this fantastic bit of gossip about Brooklyn, is that the Beckhams went out to Australia a couple of years ago, and Brooklyn had a row with Nicola, and over the phone, and then demanded to return to London, or to LA to see her. And they said, well, we just arrived in Sydney. Can you not just stay for a bit? He said, no, I've got to go back. I've got to go back and see her. And he got the parents to pay for this first class flight from Sydney, not using Skyscanner or anything like that, obviously. And I think it was like 30 or 40 of that £50,000 to get back. And he only travels first.
What,
So
just to
yeah,
patch up
yeah, I
the
think so. Yeah. Um, Communicating like this would have been a bit cheaper, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
my
heard
other
an
my other
amazing
prediction
story.
for
I heard an amazing story about David Beckham years ago, which a friend of mine was doing an event with David Beckham, and all he had to do was go up on the stage and go, "Hello, I'm David Beckham, and I love whatever Cocoa Pops,
yeah,
whatever they are."
yeah,
And he was like, he was like, I just think it's too much to do it. I just think it's too
too
much. Like
much.
you're giving me too many words to say or
Oh
something. So
no.
then it came down to like, you've just got to say, hello, I'm David Beckham. I hasten to add, this is scurrilous gossip.
Yeah,
And apparently he said, could you please write that down on a prompt card for me?
yeah. Oh, bless. I also, my other prediction
Yeah.
about Brooklyn is that, how long
Oh,
do you think
Chris
what's
Floyd's just joined the chat. Chris
uh
Floyd has just joined the chat. Floydie.
what's the
Floydie,
timeline
just for
on
your benefit, just for Floydie's benefit, we're talking about the Brooklyn Beckham post in which he said that he's fed up and he's had enough of his family. He's not listening. He said he's just watching it with the volume turned off. What's the point in that?
how long do you think it'll be before you get a picture of Brooklyn wearing a MAGA hat?
I
Because
think that'll be a long time, won't they? Aren't they in the heart of?
isn't Nicola's father a supporter of a MAGA supporter?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I think he's definitely right wing, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're friends of the
Right,
Trumps.
right.
So yeah, yeah,
Well,
who
maybe they could solve a lot of problems at once by sending Brooklyn Beckham to invade Greenland. That is
yeah,
my suggestion. I think that would
yeah.
it would solve all sorts of problems at the same time. Simon, it's been a delight chatting to you. I'm going to have to go, mainly because I've only got 6% left on my phone because we've been
Okay.
talking much longer than we planned. Thank you very much for everyone who joined. If you look at the top of this screen here, you'll see a little
Yeah,
grey box. There's not
yeah,
you, Simon, people watching. There's
yeah.
Tom Sykes and Simon Mills. And if you touch that little grey box, it'll take you to Simon's Substack page where you can subscribe to his brilliant Substack, which is called Mail on Sunday. And it's just Simon's a brilliant journalist. He's written for every publication under the sun. I think
Except the Sun,
genuinely,
not the Sun, though.
you must have written a piece for Fabulous back in the day, surely. You never wrote for Fabulous.
I didn't write for Fabulous, no.
No. Oh my God. Okay. So it's written for every publication under the sun except the Sun. And he's an amazing writer, and he's a brilliant, he's brilliant. He has a brilliant way of sort of analyzing pop culture and sort of style culture and fusing it in a way that feels kind of brainy. So when you read his stuff, although it's about daft stuff, you feel quite clever when you read it. And I love that about Simon.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.